So now it's time to move on to the WTF clip of the week. Why don't you pitch us in as to what we're about to see?
Well, Patrick, I don't know if all of our international listeners know, but recently Canada called an election. Our Prime Minister said that we will be going to the polls October 21st. For our American listeners, they might be kind of wondering if that's October 21st of this year or next year. Nope, it's that quick. We just have a month of campaigning, and then we're off to vote on the new leader. But one of the interesting things was that when I was doing some work and talking about it with a friend, he talked to me about this thing called the Natural Law Party, which was a real party back in the 90s or maybe the 80s. I'm not sure. The 80s that kind of ran on a little bit of a different platform. And I thought to myself, while I was listening to Draghi do his ECB speech recently and his questions and answers about how the markets, that this isn't a fairy tale and that the negative rates are good for the economy, I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be a great mashup. So I thought to myself, it's time for Draghi to get a little transcendental with his ECB meeting. And let's play the tape.
All right.
Thank you.
Final question goes to Mr. Ewing.
Thank you, Jack Ewing, New York Times. Two questions. One on fiscal policy. You've obviously put a lot of emphasis on that today. Are you maybe sending a message to governments?
What we want to do is create large groups of experts in consciousness to practice techniques of consciousness, including yogic flying, which everyone in Canada has heard about, and which is the most powerful technique of consciousness.
Thanks. The first question is definitely yes.
A large group like that creates such an influence of positivity and harmony in the field of collective consciousness.
And then a related question. You may be aware of a paper that was published by BlackRock recently. One of the authors was Stanley Fischer, your thesis advisor, which called for central banks to start thinking about putting central bank money directly in the hands of citizens.
That it just dissolves all of the stresses which cause the problems and prevent all of the conventional approaches that the other parties use from actually working. And in fact, this field effect of consciousness is the most solidly validated phenomenon in the history of social science.
And I heard your answer earlier to helicopter money, but if governments don't step up to the plate, isn't that something that the ECB needs to consider? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm an expert in making things disappear. My Natural Law Party will make the problems of the nation disappear, as darkness disappears with the onset of light.
All these innovations in monetary policy need to be looked at and studied and thought over.
National consciousness will be created by a few groups of experts in natural law in the country practicing Maharishi's transcendental meditation, and stress, strain, and problems in national life will be eliminated. Scientific research shows that yogic flying produces increased brain coherence, and harmony is generated throughout society.
These are big changes in the way monetary policy works. And we have not discussed this. They may be part of this strategic review in the future.
So it works. And it really is time for us to apply this knowledge to solve the problems of the country.
We will appoint ministers based on their qualifications.
Kev, you know what? You're an expert at making things disappear when it comes to client money, right? No. No, but that was hilarious.
Yogic flying, which everyone in Canada has heard about. You know that, Patrick? Have you heard about the yogic flying? And for those who are listening and not watching this on YouTube, you got to go watch it. These people put themselves in they cross their legs and then they jump up and kind of scoot along, kind of like a toddler might do if he was told to, not uncross his legs and move from one point to another. And who knew this was increase your brain coherence? So this is Patrick. This is our problem. We're not doing enough yogic lines.
Clearly, we are not. But you know what was hilarious for me was the fact that when you clearly ripped the clip and you had an order filled in the middle of it, because I'm like listening to this thing. I'm like, the markets are closed. I didn't get filled on any order. I'm like checking my account. Like, what the heck's going on here? And it's like you nicely squeezed that one in there.
I forgot that it actually my computer picks up the other stuff and not just the window that's in.
Well, hopefully that was a good fill for you. Hopefully.
That's right. I can't remember what it was, but all I know is that it really increased my brain coherence.
There we go. All right, let's move on.
I can't believe Doug Henning, there was a magician, and little did we know that he missed his true calling, which was being a politician. And for those Americans who think that they have nobody to vote for, just be aware that these are the kind of knobs that we have to vote for.